Hi everyone, this is the first in a series of video discussions with other health and well-being practitioners, and today's guest is Katya from Coffee with Gratitude. The main topic of conversation today is Katya's concept of a reverse bucket list. Watch to the end to find out how you can download a little cheat sheet with a summary of the main points discussed today and other links to help you create your own reverse bucket list. We also discuss Katya's story, how essential gratitude is, Lewis Carroll, my new life work, and my passion for reducing suffering as much as possible and creating as much well-being in the world as I can. Katya has great wisdom, so follow her on Instagram at Coffee with Gratitude and check out her amazing blog on her website, coffeewithgratitude.com. Enjoy the video. Anyway, so I take it you're called Katya. How do you pronounce your name?
Katya.
And where are you from?
Originally from Slovenia.
Slovenia. Okay, I have another Slovenian friend. Okay. So anyway, I came across you on Instagram because you started following me, and I'm very new to Instagram, and so I was very interested in your reverse bucket list concept. So on Instagram, you're Coffee with Gratitude. And yeah, I guess I'll just give you the floor and you can tell me how you came up with the concept of a reverse bucket list and what it is and how people can use it. And yeah, so just tell me the history.
So, reverse bucket list is in a way like a regular bucket list, just that you make it in reverse. You write down everything that you've already experienced and accomplished, because it's I would say in a form to just pause and reflect on your life, not to do the constant to-do lists, but to actually appreciate and give yourself a high five to what you've already done throughout the life. I came to this concept while I was visiting Machu Picchu, and I just felt overwhelmed. Up until that day, I loved traveling, but I also felt pressured that I constantly have to see more, do more, experience more, that I just have to be on the go. And I can admit that this pressure also came a bit from the social media, Instagram and stuff like that, where people are constantly on the go, experiencing new things. And I just felt overwhelmed. I had enough. And I started to think what all I already did, what all I saw and experienced. And I felt really grateful.
Okay, so gratitude. Yes, gratitude is just very important, isn't it? I also seem to remember you said something about a selfie stick as part of the story.
We were walking around Machu Picchu with a guide who was explaining the history of a place, and people just kept pushing me away and with selfie sticks everywhere. And I felt, because it's quite steep at Machu Picchu, and I felt at one point I felt that I'm in danger, because they would just push me. People weren't even aware of the surroundings and people around. They were just there to take a great photo, and I was like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
So that was where you had this kind of epiphany, was it at Machu Picchu then? Yeah, so a typical bucket list is for the future and a reverse bucket list is for the past, and it's being grateful. So can you talk more about the benefits of creating a reverse bucket list?
Yes.
And why everybody should do it.
As I've mentioned it first already, it puts your life into perspective, because you honor your past, you honor what you've already been through, and in a way I think you realize that you are enough and what you are doing actually counts for something. So it makes you proud of yourself. And I think we are wired to constantly chase dreams, new goals. When we accomplish one goal, we are already up chasing next one. So in a way, reverse bucket list gives you time to appreciate victories along the way of achieving the ultimate life goals. And that provides you also with a boost of self-confidence that you say, okay, I've done this, now I can also do more. And what is, I would say, the best thing I get out of a reverse bucket list is I get more clearance about what I like and what brings me alive. So I can see like it's type of self-discovery, and that helps me shut out opinions of others and society's pressure, because I can see which experiences gave me like the most energy, when I felt the most me, and then I go out and chase that, no matter if society tells me, for example, I don't know, I should go in July to take a 1 week's holiday at the Mediterranean Sea. If I know that's not what makes me the most like relaxed and the holidays I want, I simply say, okay, no, that's not me, and I feel okay with it.
If somebody's about to make a reverse bucket list, what are the steps that they can take? What sort of ways can you go about creating a reverse bucket list?
So, like, I would suggest you, if you already are doing bucket list, you can take the same approach also for a reverse bucket list if you're already used of doing lists. Otherwise, you could also do it like you could divide it into different areas of life. It's like family, personal, self-growth, career, fitness. So you can divide it like that, or you can go throughout your life. You can start in childhood with childhood memories, then proceed to teenage years, early 20s, and maybe that's easier for you to go like decade through decade, or that you go through time. And what I would say, it's very important once you do it, that you keep updating it.
What about social media? Where can people find you?
Yes, so I have a website, it's called Coffee with Gratitude, and in the same way you can also find me on Instagram profile and on Pinterest. I'm also quite new on the Instagram, and I launched my site at the end of November, so I'm quite new in this.
Yeah, I'm just getting to grips with Instagram myself. And I've really liked some of your posts. Well, I like a lot of your posts, but I don't know why it struck me. I had the original Alice in Wonderland when I was a child, when I was about 7 years old. And I remember reading it with the original illustrations. And you had, I wish I had it in front of me, you had a little quote from Lewis Carroll from Alice in Wonderland. And I'm going to have to paraphrase it, and I wish I could read the actual thing, but Alice meets this grinning Cheshire cat. She comes to a fork in the road, and there's this cat, and she says, "Which road should I take?" And the cat says, "Well, where do you want to go?" And she says, "I don't know." And then the cat says, "Well, it doesn't matter then." And I don't know why that just struck me as being really important, because I think we need to decide where we want to go, and then the path to where we want to go will kind of reveal itself. And I don't know how to fit that in with reverse bucket lists, but I think gratitude for what we have and what we've done is very important. And perhaps the idea of a reverse bucket list is a little bit like a Lewis Carroll concept, because everything in Wonderland is kind of upside down, but it kind of makes sense in a way. And having a reverse bucket list helps us to be grateful for what we've done and what we've achieved. And perhaps, as you said, that gives us guidance as to how to achieve more in the future. Would you agree?
Yes, I would say that's a really good connection with Alice and what she said, because maybe when you are seeing your reverse bucket list, you realize, I don't know, on the career path you currently are, it's not really what you want, but you've just been chasing this dream that came maybe from parents or society, and that makes you realize, oh, like I didn't really put career on my list, so maybe I should reevaluate that.
I'm just interested to hear more about yourself outside of the reverse bucket list kind of concept.
Mm-hmm. It's actually, I decided to name my internet site Coffee with Gratitude and start it in the first place because I saw how gratitude, being grateful, changed my life into better. And when I started to tell other people, like family members, about it, they gave it a try, and they also said, "Oh my God, like this is amazing. I love how to give gratitude." And the Coffee with Gratitude in particular, it is, I love my morning coffee, and I think that's a habit a lot of people have, or a morning tea. So why not do something that you already do every day and just put the gratitude into the mix? So while you are drinking your morning coffee, you should remember the things that you are grateful for.
That's a really good idea as well, because I practice a form of hypnosis for trauma. And one of the things we do is create associations with things and remove associations with negative things. And so that idea of having something nice like a morning cup of coffee and then associating that with feeling gratitude for things is a really good idea. How did you end up in England? Because I think that's where you live at the moment. Did you say London?
Yes, I live in London. Well, I work, I'm hospitality professional, so that was how I ended up in London.
Do you work at a hotel?
Yes, currently I still work in a hotel, but I'm also pursuing my license for a life coach because I realized I really love like life coaching, and also because like people kept telling me I should be some type of a coach because they come to me for advice or to talk about. And to be honest, also within my work, what I love the most is the like human aspect of the work, to help people and to train them. So I said to myself, why not try it out?
That's interesting because I'm from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa, so I'm also kind of far from home here in the UK. But I also worked in hospitality when I was there, and I loved the kind of people aspect of things as well. So that is very interesting. How far along are you with your life coach training thing? And do you have any clients yet?
No, I don't have, well, except for my friends and family. They are kind of my
You get to
learning.
Yeah.
Yes. So currently I'm at that stage. I don't want to like push the process. I want to like do it when I will feel comfortable.
Okay, and practicing on friends and family is good because I've done that for years as well. So when are you set to finish your course, and do you plan to go into business for yourself full time?
Yes, I will finish the course end of May, and then yes, the big plan is to be a full-time coach. Yes.
Okay, very good. Maybe what we should do is have another video chat in the end of May or June or sometime like that, and you can tell us where you are then and how people can avail of your services and things like that. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much for the chat. Yeah, we'll have to do that. And best wishes. As I say, I really like your Instagram, and your website's very good, so I encourage people to go to coffeewithgratitude.com. So I'll put it on the screen or whatever, and people can come and find you and follow your progress as you become a world famous life coach. And anyway, thank you very much. So
thank you.
All right. Anyway, it's very nice to meet you as well. I'm planning to do a series of videos with other health and well-being practitioners, and I mean, you're just starting out, and so am I, kind of as well. But I needed to be reminded about, or I constantly need to be reminded about the gratitude thing, because the strange thing about me is that my business is called New Life, and then I have the mind, body, soul thing, which is. The mind refers to emotional healing, which is kind of my passion because I use hypnosis. I use an acupressure tapping technique but it is basically neurolinguistic programming, which is basically hypnosis, to help people overcome even very severe trauma. And then I offer science-based nutrition advice for health, because so many of the illnesses that people are suffering from in Western countries are avoidable with diet and lifestyle and exercise. And so I want people to know that there is no reason, or no good reason, for so many people to be getting cancer and suffering from strokes and heart disease and high blood pressure and things like that, because it's avoidable. And then I've studied specifically Bob Proctor's materials. He's kind of a veteran self-help personal development guy. He's been doing it since the 1960s. I think he's in his 80s now. And that's kind of the soul side of things. So it's mind, body, soul. And so the soul is helping people to achieve their goals and be fulfilled. So I want people to be healthier in their mind and emotions, and I want them to be healthy in their bodies. And then once that's achieved, I want people to be fulfilled and happy and joyful and achieve big goals and that kind of thing. But the other strange thing about me, and this is where I'd be interested in your opinion, is that I also spend a lot of time looking at kind of the underbelly of society and life. And I have friends who only want to look at the positive, and yet there is a great deal of suffering in the world that is avoidable, like wars in the Middle East that are completely pointless. And like American sanctions have resulted in the deaths of 500,000 Iraqi children, just for no reason, just because of starvation. And today in Yemen, little children are dying every day of starvation for no reason. And so my dilemma is that I want people to be aware of these things, because if enough people were aware that in the UK, our tax money is going to fund terrorists. I've seen Boris Johnson saying, oh, we're going to give X million pounds to the White Helmets in Syria, who are a front for al-Nusra and ISIS and things like that. So I have this very kind of delicate balancing act where I have to be grateful for the good things in the world, but also help to make people be aware. So I'd be very interested in your view of that. I want people to be aware of things like pointless wars that we could, if enough people said no, we wouldn't be in them, and we wouldn't be funding effectively terrorists. So I don't know if you know anything about that kind of thing, but I'd be interested in your opinion. How do you deal with negative things in the world, and maybe situations where people are suffering needlessly? And I'm thinking particularly of Palestinians as well. I don't know if you're aware of that situation, but the suffering being inflicted on the Palestinians and the lack of news stories about it in the media, because the media is all controlled, means that people are not aware of this. And I would like to help those people, and I'd be very interested in your view on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one.
Yeah, I know it will sound cliche, but I think if we would all be more self-aware to knew what we truly want, and not be so self-absorbed. So it's just chasing something that doesn't come from ourselves. This is how we would be able to open more to others and suffering of others, and truly making a change, because we are all chasing too much some, let's say, money goals, and to have more cars, bigger house. And actually we should chase happiness and what makes us come alive. And I think that with that change, then we would also be okay, I don't want this politician doing these things, because it's not aligned with who I am and what I want to achieve. I don't know if it makes a sense, but I think by taking in our hands our life, and knowing that we are responsible for our life, this is how we would also be able to help others.
Yes, and I think you're right. I really love the analogy of when you get on an airplane. You get on an airplane, and it's usually an air hostess who gives you the safety talk. And one of the things she'll tell you is if the cabin depressurizes for whatever reason, the oxygen masks will fall down. And if you have a child with you, it's important to put your own mask on first, and then help the child next to you. And that seems to me to work for so many different situations in life where you can't help other people until you help yourself first. And it's kind of Alice in Wonderland counterintuitive, but I think it's necessary. And I think that's kind of what you're saying, what you're suggesting, isn't it? To be aware of yourself and what makes you happy, and then help other people to kind of catch that spark. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree. Yes, because also like you can't really give advice for something if you didn't figure out it by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And I think you mentioned your family as well, that you discovered this idea of gratitude for things that you've achieved, specifically when it comes to the reverse bucket list. But you found that when you suggested, or maybe it was just the coffee with gratitude thing, but when you suggested it to your family and friends, they realized the benefit of that kind of philosophy of life, which they learned from you.
Yes, they did. First, they were like suspicious and like, I went a bit crazy. What are you doing with all this gratitude? But later on, when they decided, because I was nagging constantly, you should try it, you should really try it.
Yes.
And yes, now they see the meaning behind it.
Do you write down gratitude lists when you sit there with your cup of coffee, or do you just meditate on the things that you're grateful for? Because gratitude is a very big part of Bob Proctor's teaching and programs, and he gets people to do a lot of writing, and the writing, especially by hand, seems to really help to embed the feelings of gratitude. So how do you go about that practically? Is it just kind of a meditation as you sip your nice hot cup of coffee, or do you do journaling or that sort of thing? I guess the reverse bucket list is a writing exercise.
Yes, a reverse bucket list is a writing exercise, and I also write down daily my gratitude list and I journal. But those two things separately. First, I put down the things I'm grateful for that morning, and I try to also connect the emotions with it. Why am I grateful for certain thing? What that makes me feel. I think that's very important, that we embrace the emotions that go with our gratitude.
That is it's almost as if you've been listening to Bob Proctor, because that's what he suggests as well. Yes, it's very important not just to do the writing or the thinking about the things that you're grateful for, but really to get into the feeling of them. Because do you think much about the law of attraction, that kind of thing? Are you into that?
Yes, I've read a lot about that, but it's also recently I read books that were written by Joe Dispenza. I don't know if
yes.
Yes. So yes, I think it's very important what you put out there and your thoughts, to be aware of the thoughts, because I saw the change in myself when I started to be more conscious what I'm thinking about.
So I think what I'm going to do, instead of working as I sip my cup of coffee, I'm going to tie in my cup of coffee in the morning with doing my gratitude list. So that's a really good idea, and I'm going to take that on board. Anyhow, thank you very much. We must chat again sometime, and it was nice to meet you, and let's keep in touch and let each other know of different things that we have on, and I can promote things for you if you like, and I'll certainly share some of the highlights from your Instagram feed and things like that. So it's been nice chatting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was nice chatting and nice to meet you.
So thanks for watching. Remember to follow Katya on Instagram at Coffee with Gratitude and check out her amazing website, coffeewithgratitude.com. Check out the description below the video where you can find a link to a little cheat sheet based on today's conversation on the benefits of creating a reverse bucket list and how to go about making your own. And remember to like, share and subscribe. Say hi in the comments below. Tell us what you're going to put on your reverse bucket list. And I'll see you next time. Bye.